here with another spirit interview, obviously. This one is with Opal. Obviously, Opal is not her real name. Because she is a djinn spirit, I never reveal the real names of djinns in this video. It's only to the person who purchases their vessel that I reveal their name to. But Opal actually introduced herself as Opal. And that is what she wants to be called for this video. However, the person that purchases Opal's vessel, once you receive her, she will not respond if you call her Opal. You will have to call her by her real name. Now, as with all female djinns, she can control and conjure up other types of spirits. It's the males that do the manifesting of wishes, you know, granting wishes and manifesting your will. Females are more about controlling other spirits and also helping you with your karma, because they do more of the energy work on that end. So they can help you kind of cleanse your karma off. So that is again along the lines of what Opal will be capable of. So if you're looking for kind of like a guide spirit, or if you're looking into the necromantic arts, or even like voodoo, although she comes obviously from a different background, which is Islamic, again, because voodoo does call upon other spirits to help you, a djinn can still help you with that. So I am going to open up and I'm going to talk to Opal. Now, actually, before I do, I want to introduce the doll. She has picked, this is a Princess Diana doll. This is a Titus Temescu. Titus Temescu does mostly like a lot of like Jesus sculptures, some bride dolls. His dolls kind of go for a lot of money. Obviously, this is not the original gown. Somebody had bought this, kind of made this gown for her, added some jewelry. She did have like a homemade crown. I don't know where the crown is. I've been looking for it. Hopefully I'll find it before it goes out. If I don't, when I do find it, I will ship it along to the person that purchases her vessel. But again, this is a Titus Temescu. If you look him up on eBay, his dolls go for, you know, quite a bit sometimes. So she's decided to inhabit, or I should say attach to, this Princess Diana vessel. So now we get to the interview part where I'm talking to Opal. And first of all, Opal is young and she is manifesting with the bottom half of her face covered with the veil, but it is a sheer type of veil. She does have long hair. It's brown. And she actually has blue eyes. She has light skin, which means that she did not go out very much. I want to say she was along the lines of a courtesan. You were a courtesan. Were you a courtesan? Were you in a harem? No, she was a courtesan. So, in other words, you lived in a brothel. Okay. Which would explain a lot. She would not, if she was in a brothel, she didn't go out. Now, I want to understand about this brothel, because I kind of get the feeling that you were almost like a prisoner. Like you could not leave the brothel. The brothel was not locked, but there were men at the door, and the women were not allowed to leave it. So once you went in, you did not leave unless they threw you out. I think she died when she was like 54, but she is manifesting much younger. I want to say like maybe like 24 she's manifesting as. Back when she was her most beautiful. She was never ugly. Like in her older years, she was never ugly, but obviously at that age, she wasn't pulling in the customers that younger girls would. And I kind of get the feeling that she became more like a den mother. After she was not making the same type of profit that she had been before, they kind of demoted her to a servant, and she was a servant for the girls that were courtesans then. She lived until she was 54, but she did die at the brothel. And it may seem strange, but it was basically of natural causes. I want to say she had, I don't know if it was diabetes or like congestive heart failure, but it was something with the circulatory system. I want to say maybe it was more along the lines of like congestive heart failure, because it didn't take much for her to get tired. She might have ended up becoming like anemic as well. She did have trouble with the stairs, and it was not from arthritis. It was from breathing. I can see that she like was labored in breathing going up the stairs and performing some of her duties. She did die in her sleep. She just stopped breathing. And she didn't, the way she's showing me 1 minute, the last thing she remembered was she was falling asleep, and the next thing she knows, people are coming in, and basically taking like covering her body and taking it out. She was outside of her body watching all of this. So she did die in her sleep. At least it was, for her, painless. But of course, because she had a lot of trouble breathing, and it wasn't lung cancer, it wasn't anything with her lungs. It was like, she used to have like chest pains and a struggle to breathe. I really feel it was the heart and the circulatory system. She may have had some clogged arteries too. Courtesans didn't eat peasant food. They were given a rich diet because they had rich customers. And she wasn't in a poor brothel. She was in a brothel where very, very beautiful women were. The customers had money. They had come to expect certain luxuries. So she was in that type of brothel. So therefore she had a very rich diet, and she was expected to have certain manners and certain etiquette. So she has a very refined, kind of like prim, which seems very funny to say about a courtesan, but she's very prim and proper about certain things. But she did have a rich diet. She did not eat peasant food, and I think that's what led to her health problems later in life. I do see that she did gain weight, and I'm seeing like puffiness. It's not just weight. I'm seeing puffiness in the face and in the hands, which could be edema, which is also a byproduct of congestive heart failure, which makes me think that's probably what she died from. I'm looking at a timeline of, this is an AD. I'm looking at a timeline of like the 13 to 1400s. She said that she was descended from a tribe in Mesopotamia, but Mesopotamia by that time had long disappeared. But their heritage, the tribe's heritage, was from Mesopotamia at one point. Something like Ajuli or Jubi or something like that. She's trying to spell it for me in English, but I'm not sure if it's, I'm pretty sure it's lost in translation. It's like J-U-B-H-E, something like that she's trying to spell. J-U-A-B, it's Jubi. It's like the more I try to reach to see what she's saying, it kind of slips away. She said that she was, from the age of 7 on, she can remember being at that brothel. 7 is very young. How did you come to be at that brothel? You were not born there. Your mother was not born there. No. Well, your mother did not have you there. She was sold to the brothel at the age of 7. Who was it that sold you? Your mother sold you? Do you remember why your mother sold you? She doesn't know. She was too young. Were you 7 years old? No, she was actually younger. She was sold to the brothel when she was younger, but she can only remember far back as 7. And she, don't misconstrue this, she did not, there was no like child rape going on. She worked like in the kitchen. She would scrub stairs. She was doing menial work as a child. So she started off as a servant and she ended up as a servant. But she, I think when she was like 15, maybe close to 16, that is when she became a courtesan. But until that time, she worked as a servant. And when she was like 10 years old, one of the courtesans there kind of made her a maid for her, like a personal maid. And she would do hair. She would do this woman's hair. And make sure her bed was clean, like the bed linens were clean, the clothes were clean. So anything that had to do with that room and dressing up that courtesan, that is what she would do. And then at the age of 15, she basically had to start earning her keep at the brothel. And she did this until she was like 39 or 40. And after that, she started having some health problems. Okay, so she was popular until she was like 39 or 40. And she would always like earn enough to earn her keep. But then she started having some health problems, and by the time she was like 44, she's saying, she just wasn't getting the customers anymore because her health problems did affect her looks, and she was not as beautiful as the other ones were and as she had been. So she was basically taken off the front lines and sent back to be a servant. She's not angry about it. The way she puts it, there were worse things to be in the world. She was never homeless. She was never hungry. She never wanted for anything. She says, I could have had a much worse life. She said, so you sometimes have to take what life gives you. I get the feeling that she was born around like 1423, somewhere around there. Is there anything else that you want to relate about yourself or your story? No? You all done? Is there anything that you would like to say to anyone that's watching this? No. Okay. All done? We're all done? Okay, we're all done. So that is Opal. Obviously, when she's purchased, I will send an email that reveals her true name. So again, as a female djinn, Opal will be able to help control other spirits. Female djinns can conjure everything from another. Now, we're talking about spirits that exist on this plane. They cannot pull somebody from the void or out of hell or back from heaven. Once they cross, they're crossed. And you do not want to pull anything out from hell. Trust me, if you haven't seen the demon video, go watch the demon video. You don't want to do it. However, any other spirit that's on this plane, they can track and they can pull and bring them to you and help control them. A female djinn is especially good to have if you're doing paranormal investigations. Now, while they can control a spirit, I want to be clear on this, while they can control it, they cannot eradicate it. So, if you go on a paranormal investigation and you bring your female djinn, she can warn you something has attached to you. She can control it to a point, okay? But she cannot get rid of it herself, and she cannot eradicate it. If it is attached to you, she cannot get rid of it. If it's in your house, she can push it back, and she can push it out. But once a spirit has attached to you, you have to take it. So again, if you're doing paranormal investigations, you really need to be careful. You really shouldn't do that type of thing unless you're able to control spirits. I know you're not going to listen to me. I know you're not. I know right now, 98% of you that want to go out and do paranormal investigations, want to look at, want to find ghosts or whatever, you're not going to listen to this, and you're going to go out, and a large percentage of you will be fine. But from the voice of experience, it can and it will happen to some of you. Maybe like 3 to 5% of you will get an attachment. And unless you're able to control that, it can fuck up your life. Because it could just be a benign human spirit that just wants attention, all the way to what I had, which was a soul eater. And that will really fuck up your life. So, again, that's my warning. She can help. She cannot do everything. So if you are interested in Opal, there will be a link below to her. She is going to be on both the Witchery and on eBay. If you purchase her on eBay, she's going to be more expensive because I have to pay extra fees on eBay. If she's on the Witchery, obviously she's going to be discounted because it's my personal website. There aren't any fees besides the PayPal. So that will be it for Opal and myself. And I will put a link to the demon video. I will put a link to her on my personal website as well as the eBay listing. I guess that's it because she really doesn't have anything else to say. So I will see you guys in the very next video. Thanks for watching.